All right, class, we're going to start working on rotations. There's some various algebra things you can look up, and you can memorize the formulas if you'd like. If that's what you're into, feel free to go find it. I'm going to show you how to think of it so you always know how to get the answer instead of memorizing a formula. We're going to start with our 90-degree rotation. Okay, we're going to start with the 90-degree rotation. And let's think about that. 90 degrees is a right angle. So there's our right angle, right? So we took point A, and then we're going to rotate it 90 degrees about the origin. If it doesn't tell you, it's automatically counterclockwise. I'm going to tell you each time, but if it's ever not told, it's counterclockwise. So I'm going to go counterclockwise, and I'm going to fall in the next quadrant. What happens is when you take this point A and rotate it 90 degrees about the origin, you create a right angle. Okay? We'll worry about where it falls later, but let's talk about a right angle. How do you create a perpendicular line, right? What do you know about perpendicular lines? So say the slope of one line, we know the slope is the change in y over the change in x. That would be perpendicular to what? How do you find perpendicular? Think about it. Exactly, it's the negative reciprocal. We're not going to worry too much about the negative. I'll just put it there, but who cares about it? You just know it's the reciprocal. So it becomes a change in x over the change in y. Let's think about what the reciprocal actually is. You're just, for lack of a better term, flipping x and y, right? So whenever you have a 90-degree rotation, we interchange x and y. So A is 2, 1. A 90-degree rotation will make A prime 1, 2. That's it. You change x and y. Next step is we have to think about what the sign is going to be. Well, let's look at the graph. 90 degrees. How many quadrants does 90 degrees move? 1, right? A full circle is 360. So a 90 degrees rotation will go to the next quadrant. So we have our A, we move it to the next quadrant. If it's in quadrant 1, it moves to quadrant 2. And we think of quadrant 2 is always a negative x, positive y. So if the point falls in quadrant 2, we know the first term is going to be negative. The second term is going to be positive. I think it's pretty simple that way. You identify the point that you're moving, right? You interchange x and y, because that's what perpendicular means. Just interchanging x and y. You find what quadrant it falls into based upon the rotation. You figure out the signs. Let's do one together. So we have our point A, which in this case is -4, 7. We're doing 90 degrees counterclockwise. So let's first think. 90 degrees is a perpendicular. We interchange x and y. If I'm in this quadrant, and I'm going to go 90 degrees. 90 degrees is a one quadrant move. I'm going to fall here at 7, 4. Do not care about the sign. Just go to 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my A prime. Well, we're in the third quadrant. X is negative. So is y. So don't think of it as positive, negative. Just know that my points are in this quadrant, 7, 4. What would happen is if I drew from here to here, I would have a right angle. You don't have to draw that right angle. Just know that's what's happening. And it's 90 degrees counterclockwise. You're going to do this one on your own. It's 4 of them to move around. All right, let's think of 270. Same concept. We're still making that right angle. We are still making that right angle. It's like Pac-Man. Instead of the right angle being this way, we're going 270, we're left with a 90. So the new point, it's a perpendicular, we interchange them. If it starts as 1, 2, or excuse me, 2, 1, becomes 1, 2. 270-degree turn, that's 3 quadrants, because it's 90 3 times. So if I'm in this quadrant here, 1, 2, 3, I fall into here, 1, 2. In the fourth quadrant, x is positive, y is negative, okay? Whenever your rotation is creating a right angle, and we'll see in the next slide when that doesn't happen, but for right now, it's all we're doing. Whenever your rotation creates a right angle, 90 degrees or 270 degrees, it's a perpendicular, and perpendicular lines are just reciprocals of one another, opposite reciprocals. So we're just interchanging x and y. We find the quadrant it falls in to get our signs. So let's look here. We're going to take 270 counterclockwise. Well, if it's negative 4, 7, it becomes 7, 4. 270 from here, counterclockwise, it's going to be 3 units. 1, 2, 3, or 3 quadrants. So I'm going to be at 7. There is L prime. It's in the first quadrant, positive, positive. And if I look here, there's my right angle, and I went here. I made Pac-Man. This is another. You'll have this in your notes to work on your own. Now, 180 degrees. We're going to rotate 180 degrees about the origin. Does 180 degrees create a right angle? No, it doesn't. If there's no right angle, do we need the reciprocal? No. So you just negate x and y. Think about what happens when you make a complete 180. If you're going down your life and you're going down one road, whether you're going down the good road or the bad road, and you do a complete 180, you turn around and went the opposite way. You might have been going to the bad road, now you turn around and you went the good road, or opposite, right? You went from negative to positive. Notice the works cited. So whenever you're doing a 180 degree about the origin, you just negate A and B. All you did was you took your life and you turned it around. You went from positive to negative or negative to positive. You just changed the sign. There is no right angle. There's no right angle. Therefore, there's no reciprocal. We just changed the way we were going. So if I have Q as negative 4, 7, 180 degrees, I just negate them. That negative 4 becomes a positive. That positive 7 becomes a negative. It's as simple as that. Next, we're going to have clockwise rotations. It is the exact same thing, you're just going the opposite way. All right, so I'm going to do a couple for you fairly quickly. I think you'll get it. So I got clockwise 90 degrees. Does 90 degrees give me a perpendicular? Yes. 7, 4, because I need my reciprocal. 90 degrees clockwise. Clockwise is that way. So it becomes 7, 4. They're both positive. Now think about it. 90 degrees clockwise is the same as 270 counterclockwise. If you don't really need that information, I just hope that you realize that. 90 clockwise is 270 counterclockwise. Okay. Here's another activity for you. And let's look at this. 270. 270 is a right angle. So that means I interchange the 7 and the 4. Let's figure out the signs. 270 counterclockwise. Oh, wait a minute. Clockwise. We're doing clockwise rotations. We're doing clockwise rotations. So just cross that out on yours. 270 clockwise. So that's going to go this way. 1, 2, 3. We know it's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. So L prime is in the third quadrant. That's a negative x and a negative y. They're both negative. And there's another activity for you to complete. So again, guys, whenever you're making a right angle, you have to do the reciprocal. Interchange x and y. See how many quadrant it bounces. Find the signs in that quadrant. If it's 180, you went from negative to positive or positive to negative. You just negate it. You're just changing the sign. There's no perpendicular, so there's no reason to change. Complete this. Do the students complete. Turn it in, and we'll go over it in class.